Well, welcome to the podcast, Stephanie.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
How do I pronounce your last name?
Anspach.
Anspach. Is that how everyone's supposed to pronounce it? Or
They don't always pronounce it right. It's usually off.
Anspach. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. So yeah, again, welcome to the podcast and happy to have you here to discuss your eligible now for your second Tinman coin.
Okay.
And you have beautiful blue eyes.
Thank you.
I didn't get to do your first interview. That was was it Christina?
It was Christina, yes.
Okay.
Christina Goodman.
Okay. Awesome.
Yes.
So tell me what brought you here? What brought you to apply for the Tinman to begin with?
So I have dealt with my depression my whole life. I usually just do talk therapy. When I was younger, in my early 20s, I struggled with alcohol and addiction. And so I went to a inpatient program and I learned how to do meditation and all that. So everybody I've worked with has made it very clear that, wow, you actually know what you're doing. You kind of are understanding of this. But I was like, I need help to get myself back to, middle ground. Yes, I know how to do all the things, but I also forget, how to be mindful of myself and how to deal with my feelings. I don't struggle with the alcohol part of things so much anymore as I do with the depression and anxiety. So it's good to get to do things like the Reiki. That was freaking amazing.
It was.
I felt like I was floating. It was beautiful, a very good experience. And then I got to do the coaching, the wellness coaching. Is it Nina Maria? Or what is her business called?
It's called Nina Marie.
Nina Marie.
But,
okay. Yes.
Yeah, her name is, I think Nina Marie was her nickname or something. Her
Okay.
grandma gave her.
Yeah,
but
no, it's so cute. It's Christina, yes. Who I already had known from an outside group. And so it was nice to finally meet her. All my family and like my aunts and my mom had already met her and told me, you need to meet her. She would be so helpful for you. But I never made the connection. And I also never made the connection with Reiki. I always had people telling me that would be so good for you. It would help you so much. But then I just never followed through with it. The follow through for me is really hard because I get stuck in my anxieties. And then it kind of holds me back, which is kind of goofy because I'm always helping people with their dogs with anxiety and aggression problems. So I'm having to put myself out there and help other people all the time. And I don't always help myself. And as being a mother, I also don't always help myself. So having an outlet where someone is telling me, hey, Steph, remember, you're important too. That is very, very important for me. I don't always think of myself. And I think a lot of us, especially moms, do that. Dads do too, not cutting that out. But I think it's very important for people to find a level ground where they can take care of others, but also fill their cup. Mm-hmm. I find that I fill my cup a lot with the dog training, but that doesn't always cover things when you go home and you're left to think through everything and, relationship things and just regular kid drama. It all comes into play, and then you have to figure out what life is from there. And so I found that this was an awesome way to kickstart me into, you need to get something to help yourself and I love my talk therapy. It is beautiful. She is on your list of help too. And I always say her name wrong. And she's a beautiful woman. She has helped me kind of walk through some of it's inner child work.
Sure.
And I still go to her as well, in addition to all this stuff. So I already knew that I was going to be talking with her. And she is phenomenal at, helping you achieve information that you can't access in your own brain. And so I've put all three of them together. And I think it'd be really cool to get to do the sound therapy, which I kind of don't know much about, but I know how healing vibrations can be. And I think with my next coin, I might use that to explore that as well and see, what further I could get to with that help.
Okay.
Because I know hertz levels can really change your access into your inner brain, and to see where that can take you is just so healing. And then I can help heal other people. Well, mainly with me, it's animals. So I'm going to be in September, I think I'm going to do some animal Reiki classes to be able to do Reiki with animals. Awesome. The woman I went to, Chrissy's Moonfire Reiki, she's like, you have a cat that's attached to you, and she is telling me that you need to do this. And I'm like, okay, I guess. I thought I was doing like enough. But she's like, this will help you catapult into the next level and, be able to help more people and animals. And you'll be able to reach so much further than you're already able to reach, which you never know, like if you're self-limiting and how all that is. I self-limit a lot because I usually cut myself down a lot. I try not to. It's always like, I'm always tapping myself like, hey, remember you're here. Don't do that. So it's been easier for me with some guidance and help. And also getting put back into my right vibration. I don't know if people know about the vibrational patterns and how that can really help you heal. I have 1,000,001 bracelets on to constantly help me be in the right energy. And I find that's very important for me. And especially when I'm working with animals, I feel like I'm using that. Like I always have these on. And I'm always using energy, like getting myself prepared before I go into a place so that I don't carry any like stagnant energy from my child getting upset or something like that. I really try hard not to carry stuff. So I put classical music on and I like bring myself back into the right mindset. And that's kind of how I've been doing it. Probably for like the past 9 years, I've used classical music to bring myself back into my own mind. And then I'll meditate. Meditation is like my lifesaver at this point. But I wasn't accessing the right patterns of thought. And so I was just kind of ruminating on the wrong thoughts. And I think depression can be kind of sneaky. And it's very sneaky for me. And so I have to pull myself out of it a lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Like it just sneaks up on us. And then if we're not taking the time to meditate, to be aware of our thoughts or watching our thoughts, then we're just subject to them and they're attached to us like strings. And bringing that awareness to the thoughts. Sorry, let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Because it's like, then you can see those thought patterns. And after a couple of days, it's like, oh, and then you can almost laugh at yourself for it. Like, oh, yeah, I keep thinking that. Silly. Yep. So this is, have you seen this? This is our emotional spiral diagram that is just kind of fun to look at.
Yes.
Because
it takes you all through it.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it's interesting because, if someone is like, say, heavily medicated from, like, for example, like with a bipolar, so like a medication that brings us, doesn't allow us to have like the real high highs or the real low lows, but it can cause us to ride more of like this line of hopeful but bored, calm, maybe optimistic, or maybe just sort of neutral. But then, like the spice of life lives everywhere in here, and these emotions that are challenging to deal with live below the line, and these emotions that are just feel good live up here. But the interesting thing is that for every emotion that exists below this line is just a mirror image. You can almost just go like this.
Yes.
Is a mirror image of an emotion that exists above the line. So like guilt, that was just a heavy one for me for the longest time.
Yes.
And like the opposite of that is forgiveness of self.
Yes. Right? That's a huge one.
Yeah.
Yes.
So sometimes I love looking at this because if I'm feeling a certain way, I can just be like, okay, look for that balancing emotion. And how can I cultivate forgiveness of self? Why am I not forgiving myself?
Yes.
Because find that or contemplate that for a while, then it can remove that guilt.
Yes.
And that's such a heavy feeling. It lives so far down on that line.
Yes.
What is that other one? Negative self-talk. There it is.
Yes. That's a deep one for me.
It's like, giving yourself grace for doing it. Like, it's okay.
Yes.
But be nice.
Yes.
To yourself.
Be gentle.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway.
Very good.
So sound healing. Yeah, I do think that you would love it.
Yes.
It's not everyone's drawn to it, but if you, in my experience, somebody who finds benefit from Reiki therapy will usually also really love sound therapy.
Okay.
So
yes, that it seems like that's been drawing me just as the same way that the Reiki's been drawing me. And so I plan to continue my journey with that, but also I want to further it, experiencing new ways to heal myself and, just opening up the doors, for all the possibilities that are out there. Cause there really are, there's endless possibilities for help and healing and, ascension into the next space of your mind. And I'm ready for it. I feel like, my 20s were containing it all. And now it's like, I'm in my mid 30s. I feel like it's coming to light, and I'm just going to let myself blossom.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. It was hard though, in my 20s, I struggled a lot, but, having my kids and looking at them and knowing that they need me and different things that life has thrown at us that were really tough, especially in the last 6 months, my boys were just everything that kept me going. I could have easily just said, oh, I'm not going to do that. They'll be fine. They can figure it out on their own. But if I had done that and just let myself go into my depression, we wouldn't be here today. And thankfully I have family and a support system that keep me going and help me, give me some moral support, some slightly financial support, while I'm getting back on my feet. Had a really big situation happen. Had moved away, thought it was going to be the perfect situation. It turned out really messy. And so my former partner, he has a lot of healing to do himself. And I have to be away from him for him to do that healing. And while he's doing that, I'm getting to find out who I am and who I want to be and all the things. And, after it all comes back together, will we connect again? Who knows? But I'm not closing any doors. I'm just keeping it open because I think the mind has a way of fooling you into thinking things will go one way or another way. And, I believe there's a God, and that's the one in charge of what our big plan is, if we choose the right paths where it could truly go. And I want to be able to help people. And that's where my goal is going. And I hope to be a part of some type of a healing center, not only for animals, but for people too, because, it's needed. There's so much darkness in this world and we all need a little bit of light.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that you're doing that.
Yeah, no, I feel like there's like a beacon pulling me towards it. And I'm like, okay, Stephanie, you can't let your self-doubt or your being too scared or anxious about it. Just give it a chance. What's the worst thing that can happen?
Right.
It could go all sour or, it can blossom.
Right. Just allowing the universe or source to just sort of guide you and let it unfold the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. So I'm trying to stay positive about it. Sometimes I let the world get me, but I turn the news off a lot of the times,
Good. Yeah,
that's how I keep my peace.
Good. Yeah. Don't ever start by turning it on.
Yeah. No.
To begin with.
Yeah. No. Right. Just no, we don't need that.
Yeah. Yeah. We can check the weather app on our phone.
Well, yeah. No, I always am checking the weather.
It's the only news.
I mean, in Wisconsin though, you don't really get like a clear,
right.
What's the weather going to be? It's supposed to be storming. And then you actually step outside and you're like, it's storming right now.
Yeah. Just wear layers and bring a rain jacket or umbrella in your car. And
then you're
covered.
set.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yes, no, I agree. I absolutely appreciate you putting this together because honestly, I don't think I would have branched out and asked for help unless my friend Allie Bump was like, hey, Steph, you should check this out. Like, I think this is like where you need to like get some help, get you rolling back into the right space. And then I have a bunch of friends in the community, like people that I I could have a lot closer, but I have kept kind of further away. And now I'm starting to pull them in, let them be my moral support. I've got so many good people that have been in my corner that I haven't taken advantage of, that were like, we're here for you. Mm-hmm. I'm not just talking about other people, but, I personally get myself into I'll just do this. I don't need to ask for help. I can get through this. I can figure out a way. I don't need you. Like, oh no, thank you, but no, thank you. It's so easy to say that, but then when you sit back and you're like, okay, maybe I did need that. Yeah. So just asking.
It's a superpower, really, to be able to have the courage to ask for help. Mm-hmm, it's a sign of strength, not weakness. Yes. Even though it's easy to see that opposite. Mm-hmm. So I'm proud of you for reaching out, and yes. And hopeful that your journey will continue positively. And yes. I can just tell, I can see it on you and your aura and, yes. and your energy. It's
definitely
very good. So
it's coming back to where it should be. Just got to brighten it all the way up.
And that's one of the things, like the reasons that we started the wellness grant program to begin with was not just to help break down the financial barriers for people to access different tools or modalities to deal with their mental health issues, but also the social barrier, just or the stigma against talking about it, or just like the plain fact that a lot of people are simply just uneducated about what other options are out there. And so this allows you to dip your toes in a few different things and see what fits good for you, and what fits good for you might not be the same that fits good for someone else. So it's like, I'm glad that I'm honored to have this opportunity to give these options for you to dip your toes in a few different things and see what fits.
It's amazing to be able to have, a list even to go to I'm curious about this, and then you can contact the person and ask questions about it and go further into it, or maybe that doesn't feel right for me and take a different avenue. And, for me, I have things that down the road, maybe I would want to try, but I don't think I'm healed internally enough for that next step. So for me, I think that sound therapy is going to be like next level. And to see that all come to fruition will be really cool. And
remind me, what was in your first coin? Was it holistic health coaching and Reiki?
Yes.
How many sessions of Reiki?
Just one.
Okay.
Yep.
And
so
one
and one.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. So the way this has been working lately is that second coin, like for you, you're making it apparent that you want to dabble in the sound therapy.
Well,
so
I'm like,
we're happy to
sounds kind of cool.
Oblige. But then the third coin, as long as you come back and give us some feedback on your sound therapy, that third coin could just look like a cash value in your voucher to go use wherever you want. If you want to use it for coaching or more Reiki or more sound, or if you want to try something else even. So
okay, cool.
That's the idea.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like the way that you set it up. I mean, it is an amazing thing that you're helping so many people open up the options instead of thinking like, well, I'm just stuck in this corner. Like, I'll just keep it to myself. Most people wouldn't guess that I have, depression or anxiety because I mask it so well.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's, that just shows you, if you put it out there more, how many people will actually say, well, I actually do need help, or I am curious about that. And then ask for, can you guide me or show me what you did or tell me or just talk to me, what was your question about it? Like, how did that make you think about something else in your life? Just talk to somebody. It doesn't matter who. You just need to open your mouth. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
And then if someone wants to help you get into getting help, then just like my friend Allie, she was like, Steph, you need to do something after everything you just did. Like, just came through. You like, whoa, you were living off grid. I was like, yeah, I was. It was crazy. But, it was good and it was bad. There's always good and bad in situations. And, it went much deeper than just being off grid, people's own, like my partner's mental health. His mental health was affected by the situation. And then it caused like a big problem, and then we were put in a situation where we had to make choices that we never thought we'd make. So it's just know that there's always a better outcome if you follow through and you go through all the things that you need to, be honest. That's what I told my son, when we were going through a situation where he was having to talk to the cops and he was having to talk to, the DHS people. Just please be honest with them. They're not going to do anything bad. They're here to help. And that's how we ended up getting back here. The state of Oregon is 30 hours away, pretty far. So we actually got a domestic violence grant and got us back here. Okay. And then my healing journey started. It was probably I was going to church, but I also then started asking and like reaching out to you. And then we got scheduled and then I started the journey, and I feel like it's all rolling now. My business is starting to pick up, helping people that I didn't know I could find anybody that would even deal with this with my dog. And I'm like, well, I do. And then a lot of these people are like, well, I just found out about you from like my family member or somebody else, and we really need you. And I'm like, okay, how long, do we have until this big event comes? Well, it's next month. And I'm like, okay, I can help you get to the point where it's not so scary, but we're going to have to continue after that. The picture can't be fixed, if you ask last minute for help, but you can still get help,
Yeah. What's the name of your business?
Rough Pups.
Rough Pups. Yes. Out of Laval, right?
Yes, I'm in Laval.
All right.
Yes.
Is there a website or?
I just have Facebook. So I have a Facebook page for it. You can check it out, follow, like, whatever you want. I don't care. Just as long as, the people that need it are getting help and they're finding out about it. I finally stepped into the current age and I got, you can scan my card now and it will take you to the Facebook page.
Okay. Cool.
I want to get connected with a person to make a website, and that will be the next thing. But I figure we'll do that as it comes, as the months go slower. Usually for me, the winter is a little slower just because people don't really want to be going outside with their dogs in the cold and the ice and the snow.
Yeah.
So I'll use the slower months to kind of do stuff like that, focus on that. And I kind of make a nest egg for that time period so I can focus on that and then prepare for the next year ahead and be closer, hopefully, to having a facility. I'm going to be applying for a home loan. Since I'm a first-time home loan person, I will be able to get into a program to be able to help me have little to no down payment, which will be nice because it's so scary going into this. And I'll be able to have all the things I want on my list for the place. And I'm going to make sure it's in a spot where I can have like the dogs over and do training and stuff like that, or just groups even.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to you connecting with Tabitha. Has she reached out? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to meet officially tomorrow. Okay. I'm going out there.
Awesome. She's going to be on later today. So.
Oh, cool. Maybe I'll run into her.
Yeah. I don't know. She's not here till 4.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think you'll cross paths. But.
Okay.
Well, thank you for
cool.
coming in.
Thank you very much.
And for sharing your story.
Yes.
And excited to see you in here next time after you've done some sound sessions.
I'm excited too. It's going to be very cool. I appreciate it so much. It's so nice to have someone that cares enough to then, someone that's been through something so tough and then they want to help other people and to put that out there for others to be able to access help.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for saying that.
You're very welcome. You're doing a lot of good in this world.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. We'll see you soon.